Hear me out.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into another Tuesday night show of Hear Me Out. My name is Tanner Dawson of the Sports Buffoons and Let's Talk Sports Network. Join with me is the Rec Room Sports Podcast guys, Whit and Jay. Jay, what's up, guys?
Hey man, just ready for another victory, man. Whether you're talking about the Braves, whether you're talking about me, another victory.
I'm
Yeah.
so happy to be here.
Whit, you're in the middle of
Resident.
a hurricane hitting your area, and I think you're about to bring the hurricane into this area. So,
Yeah, man. As you can see, I got my combat hat on. I'm prepared for all types of weather, all types of adversity. Jay brings the pain when it comes to certain topics, so I gotta be prepared for all fronts right now. The hurricane's not gonna stop me. Jay's not gonna stop me. I'm all ready for the day.
that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, guys. As always, guys, of course, make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow here in the show. We do this every Tuesday night. It's a blast here. We got lots of different comments as well, as to go about. Like, we got different topics. We don't just talk NFL. It's going to be NBA, NFL, college. I mean, WNBA, we've already done a couple times too, and list keeps going on. It's a fabulous time. So make sure you guys are commenting along with us what your thoughts are. So once again, how the game works is I score the points. I get to judge their discussions essentially. And if you hear this sound, that's a point. If you hear this sound, I take away the point. And I haven't had to do that in a couple weeks, guys. I haven't had to do that in a couple weeks. Don't make it this week either, all right? If you hear this sound, it is the next round. And then this sound finally is our bonus round at the very end. And that bonus round is worth 5 points, which has been every show so far has been the deciding fate. So it's always a big one. It's always a big one. But you'll see the scores after every round and every topic, the update going on. So, guys, before we jump into it, real quick, just don't take too long here. Just need some quick thoughts. That day was today in the NFL. I want to know your thoughts here on your guys' team. So, Jay, I'll let you start.
I'm sort of thinking. I didn't know one team can keep 20 defensive ends on the same roster, but I just figured that out. Looking at our 53-man roster, pretty good. The guys that stuck out in preseason are on the team. I'm pretty excited about Rodriguez at running back as well as 47. I'm sorry, I think it's Houston Horton, one of the last name. Sorry, but
I can't remember. Yeah.
he did very well. His name just escapes me. But I was looking at the Steelers roster, and I'm kind of their defense, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. They say that they got KZ and Keanu Neal on defense. I'm a little jealous. They got some ball hawks, and that's just their depth. Those are not exactly starters. So uh, I don't know. I mean, as far as my team's concerned, sorry, I'm not speaking for you. With I just happened to notice y'all's roster. It was like, damn, you know, yeah.
What do
You
We
know,
have like 20 defensive ends, yo. Just I don't understand it.
it got a lot of guys on standby. In my case, a lot of the regular faces are there. For us, what I think we wanted to address was our defensive backfield. That's really important to us. Normally, Steelers football is like concentrated somewhere in the defensive backfield. But I'm really excited to see what Larry Ogunjobi's going to bring to the field this year. TJ Watts always got you know a lot of the games hinge on whether he's playing or not because of how he is. Um, oh yeah, my guy from Wisconsin, Nebraska, Nick Herbig. I liked him
Yeah.
I liked him in preseason, and I'm really big on the fact that he's also one of the Watt disciples. He goes to their defensive lineman, off, pretty much linebacker camp, on sacking the quarterback. So I'm with it. You know what I mean? The rookies are who they were, and the standard is the standard in Pittsburgh. I don't know if y'all heard that before, but that's what Coach Tomlin says.
He does. He does state that. That's really, I mean, again, big reactions, right? We made a trade here in the Chiefs world. We got a trade. We kept 7 receivers. We could have kept 8, but we traded Ear Smith Marset to the Panthers to get a draft pick. I mean, because you can't keep everybody. So, there were some moves questionable. Of course, running back was always questionable there. We let a couple guys go that I thought should have made it. But again, in trust in Veach, we do. So.
I got a surprise. Me and Jay talked about. It's not really a surprise, but the Arizona Cardinals out here want to be no limit soldiers and drive a tank apparently. So
yeah, it's so bad.
Getting rid of Colt McCoy is kind of ludicrous, and somehow, some way, it's a fire sale. So we got to see if Zach Ertz gets up out of there. It's a lot of moving pieces, but of course, hey, from what I saw and from what I've heard, several of the Arizona brass were at the USC game, and do you know who plays for USC? Caleb Williams. So who knows, man? Who knows?
Well, we'll have to, as we go about the NFL season, I'm sure his name will pop up on the show eventually. So, we'll be in touch. Hey, I had to ask about cut day. It's always a great reaction day to be able to talk about that, guys. So, anyways, let's get this thing started. Let's kick it off, guys. Top 5 best point guards. Plain and simple, right? There's so many different names, so many different lists. Steph Curry, right? Could be in the conversation now as he's getting up in age. He's getting there. There's different guys on everybody's different list. But who do you guys got for the top 5? Wait, you won the show last week. You broke the streak. What do you got?
Well, I won.
Wait,
yeah, Jay
you
won.
and Jay?
I won.
Jay won.
Oh, that's right. Because
I won the week before.
Yes.
I'm off a week. My bad. Anyways, Jay, go ahead since you won.
All right. So, my thing with the top, the best. You talking about the best 5 point guards ever, which is pretty hard, man.
Yeah,
And our time, we basically watched a lot of point guards who were good, not necessarily just scoring, but distributing the ball. We watched one Magic Johnson. We've watched scoring point guards. We watched AI, and at that point in time, it started getting into the combo guard. Some people even consider Russell Westbrook one of the best point guards ever, which when you're talking about top 20, so he's somewhere in the maybe the bottom half. But my top 5, I want to at least mention, greats, man. That we got Jerry West, who people don't mention as much as a top 5 point guard. Jason Kidd, who some may put him in there, but the thing about J Kidd, you look at his career. They used to call him A-Son. The beginning of his career, man, because you know why, right? Because he had no J whatsoever, and the Triple J Ranch, which of course, they didn't have that, but they call him Ason. But for him to transform his career on the latter part and become like a 39% 3-point shooter after being like barely like a 33, barely in the 30s, but being the top 5 point guard, a top point guard, Jason Kidd. We could talk about Chris Paul. You know what I'm saying? Chris Paul with no ring. A lot of teams They defensive teams. You got Steve Nash. Steve Nash, who, come on, you can sit here and be like, damn, Steve Nash was deadly because who you kind of, I could put him into one of my top five. Sorry, taking a little long, but it's coming. Steve Nash, you could kind of compare him to one of my guys who that's in the top five. You know, I think maybe a better shot, a little bit more creative with the basketball. Um, Walt Frazier. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Walt Frazier, man, with just the whole the flashiness, him as a point guard, just Walt Frazier, period. And also think about like Bob Cousy, Bob Cousy,
Yeah.
right? So you got so many point guards that you will sort of forget because of sort of a lot of the names that's out there. Um, but my top five, and I'm just gonna go through it real quick. I'm gonna go Magic, O, just O. Sorry, Magic, O, Isaiah, Steph, and John Stockton. You know what I'm saying? That's my top five. That's my top five. I appreciate guards who can score, but I appreciate guards who can just run the freaking offense, distribute the ball. Some say John Stockton, he has some, it's easy getting those assists, which who's gonna touch that? You had Magic up there as far as assist total, career wise, his average, and then you had somebody like, John Stockton, who was up there right below him, but he had Karl Malone. Like it was easy. Like he could come across the court, boom, here you go, like all night, and he became the assist king. But that's my top five though. Magic, Oscar Robertson, Isaiah, Steph, and John Stockton. I'm not gonna take this too much time to explain all five, but that's it right there.
Do you take Steph at that? I assume the 2 spot, right? Or is it the 4 spot?
He's at 4 because because with Steph, I mean, you got to think about it like this. If O was given the green light like Steph, if Isaiah was given the green light like Steph, can you imagine that? If Magic was out there, had the range that Steph had, and was given the green light and was told, nah, don't do that. Just come across court. Just, you know what I'm saying? Can so it's a different game. So I kind of give players some type of credibility because they're not given the same green light, you can look at running backs in the past compared to running backs now.
Right.
Running backs in the past, it's all day. And the black and white days, it was all day. We're talking about 30 rushes a game. Who gets 30 rushes a game nowadays? So when it comes to Steph, that's why I got him at 4. I got Stockton at 5 because, like I said, mainly, he was a deadly shooter. He was a deadly shooter. Like,
and he wasn't a pushover either.
Right. Him and Mark Price was like very, very, very highly underrated. Him and Mark Price. Mark Price, you could count on him, man. He was just exaggerating, but damn near not 100% free throw shooter, yo.
Put him on the foul line. Yeah.
He was great, but yeah, that's my top 5.
Good list. Whit, what you got, man?
All right, so this is what I did. I kind of did the top 5 list. Let's say that Magic and Steph are 1 and 1A. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Both are somewhere at the top. You can kind of shuffle it up. Of course, Magic being who he is, being the large point guard, could play all positions. Led the Lakers to the championship in his rookie season. Did some amazing things when it came to, revitalizing the NBA. Without Magic and Bird, we wouldn't be here right now. And of course, the Showtime Lakers. We know that. Go ahead, give him that one. Then you got Steph up top. Shout out to Mark Jackson for somewhat putting the battery in his back, so to speak, making it possible for him to play that way. And then also, you got to think about who Steph Curry made great along with him. So remember Andre Iguodala? Remember that guy? Andre Iguodala was going down before he got there, but he made Andre Iguodala MVP in the NBA championship. Who does that? Steph Curry. Klay Thompson, second best shooter in the world. Wouldn't know too much about him unless people were paying attention to Steph Curry, which gave him the opportunity to put up as many shots and go crazy on several occasions. And then somebody else you want to think about that he definitely helped that you gotta mention, especially now. Andrew Wiggins was a top 5 bust coming into what we know right now as what is the Golden State Warriors era. Andrew Wiggins is now top
Nah,
5
man,
two-way.
I can't let you
Hey,
say that. You
where
gonna give him
was
that point?
Andrew? Hey, can
You say
excuse me?
top
Where
5.
was let's talk about this top 5 bust? Okay, where was Andrew Wiggins before now? Do you remember how good
He
was
wasn't a
he?
He was a
top
How
5
leading
many points?
scorer.
bust.
He was a
How
leading
many?
scorer on
He
his
was a
team
leading
in
scorer. Okay,
Minnesota.
let's say this.
He was
But
like the
where
second lead.
was he?
Thank you.
See, don't not you
Thank
listening to
you.
him. See,
I'm
the point
sorry.
is, where was Minnesota going with Andrew Wiggins by himself? Was he
If
leading them to the playoffs? Was he
Now,
leading them to a
now,
championship?
now.
Okay, so my point is, once he got to Golden State, where he could accentuate his best skills, which is playing defense and slashing to the rim,
I
which
will
is
give you
helped
that.
by
I will give
Steph
you that.
Curry, which is helped by Steph Curry shooting the ball. We now know Andrew Wiggins as what he is most known for. Thank you. Now, let's get to the actual list of point guards outside of those people, right? Okay, I got my honorable mention. My honorable mention, I gotta go straight up and down. It's like this. Russ, we already know Russ with the triple doubles. Big shout out to Russell Westbrook. I'm a huge Russell Westbrook fan. If Russell Westbrook had any resemblance of a 3-point shot, we'd be having a different conversation right now about who's number one. Two, gotta talk about Derrick Rose. Y'all know what's up with Derrick Rose. If it wasn't for knees, Achilles, the bottom half of his body, for Christ's sake, Derrick Rose would be somewhere in my top 5 for sure. But those quick flashes of Derrick Rose are not enough to necessarily put him at the top. But Derrick Rose is definitely up there. And my right under 5 got to be Rajon Rondo, straight up and down. 2 rings, one of the two of the most storied franchises in the league. He got a ring with one. At one point in time, was flirting with a triple double his dang self playing for the Celtics. Now let's get to the point. We got Chris Paul at 5. You know what I'm saying? Floor general. He's 38 years old, still doing somewhere around like 19. Every team he's gone to, he's helped make better. That's not a lie. Every team, okay, every last one he's went to made it better. You already mentioned Big O. We know what the deal is with that one. Triple double standard, of course. Milwaukee, second. Well, the Kings of how it eventually panned out for him is one of the best NBA stories of all time. One of them that I'm going to throw in there, of course, you got to throw in Stockton somewhere at 2 or 3. It's just a mix. I'm gonna tell y'all why. Because of course, Stockton is just like Jay mentioned, one of the better players, shooters, ball handlers, tough on the court, tough defensively, not a pushover. I don't care what you think about, your white uncle in his tall shorts out there cutting the grass. I don't care what you think about him, but he was nasty when necessary. So that's how the Jazz were perennial Western Conference Finals winners, because of John Stockton's play and his execution on the court. And then right there on 2, somebody that nobody ever talks about, and I'm going to big this one up because I hated him for a degree, Tony Parker, bro. Where is Tony Parker on this list? Why Tony Parker, straight up and down? Would the Spurs be the Spurs without a floor general like Tony Parker? I mean, and then you got to say, okay,
Yeah.
if I got John Stockton right there, right? Tony Parker's a little bit ahead of him. Why? Because of 2003, 2005, 2007, and 14. Those years, he definitely was doing about 17 and 8. He go like 9, 10 in the playoffs. And somewhere in there, the accentuation of all of these European players is something that we're all looking at right now every day in the NBA since the inception of what Popovich did with him and Ginobili and Boris Diaw mixed in there. So that French connection, all of that stuff is where they also got the pick for Wembanyama to work out well right now going to the future. So shout out to Tony Parker. I want to throw him definitely in there at that 2-3 range. And number one, you can't really too much argue with me. I'm gonna tell you right now, Zeke was nice, Zeke was nasty, Zeke was ill, Zeke was sick, Zeke was dope, he was fresh. Some of the best handles ever, possibly besides Kyrie Irving, maybe. You know, Though that back to back, championships. Once again, let's see who he made better. So many different players from those bad boy Detroit Pistons eras always like to say that we knew who was our leader and who was that guy, and it was definitely Zeke. I love John Sally. You wonder why I like John Sally? Not just because John Sally funny, but John Sally kept it real. It was all about Zeke on that court. You know what I mean? A shot time representative, but made Detroit whole when they drafted him. And in the long run, although it kind of shifted when the playoffs came, Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas was boys, partners. You know, who could beat that? Everybody, no, don't get me wrong. Everybody says he was a bit of a dirty player from time to time, but who could beat that $1 million smile on the court? Huh? Who could do it? So there goes my 5 right there. Like I said, big shouts out to my honorable mentions, man. And for real, nobody ever talks about Tony Parker, but I had to throw him in there for me because I hated the Spurs for a really long time.
But Tony, like, you got to think of the same way. You talked about I'm trying to think of the right way to say it here. The Tony Parker. Yes, he was a piece of this Spurs dynasty, you can call it, right? And everything like that. But Tim Duncan is going to be Tim Duncan, right? Pops is just going to fill in that point guard. Luckily for Parker, he fitted in very well. Doesn't mean they couldn't just gone out and got somebody to do that role, on that part.
Like Avery Brown, maybe at one point.
It's Pops. Pops of that era.
Avery Johnson.
You make something work, right?
Swish Parker. I don't know. Avery Johnson.
You really got Chris Paul in your top 5, man. You got Chris Paul in your top 5.
Chris
Why?
Paul.
Why?
Chris Paul? Why Chris Paul? Are we serious?
You're talking about a guy whose teams stutter out because they go play with Harden, they go play Old Man Durant and Booker. I
am hurt because of this Chris Paul slander right now. Me personally, because at one point in time, on several occasions, we all know Chris Paul body failed him. It just failed him miserably.
Oh, it did.
but Chris Paul, any other time, regular season, day and night, day in, day out, Chris Paul goes to your team and you're dang near guaranteed somewhere between 5 and 10 more wins. And I'm interested in seeing how the new look Golden State Warriors will perform with him. Because if y'all remember, back in the day when before Kevin Durant got there, it was more so them using Livingston and Jared Jack as like a 1, and them letting Clay and Steph shoot. And if anybody could perform well in that role, I think that you could insert Chris Paul into that role, and then once again, you're gonna just let Steph be Steph and shoot and not have to run the offense. You're gonna let Draymond Green set screens and bounce passes. Everybody knows I hate Draymond Green and the bounce passes. He's like the king of bounce passes. But and you're gonna let Klay Thompson be Klay Thompson. You're gonna move Andrew Wiggins down to the 4. He's gonna guard your best perimeter player easily. And then what? I don't care who you put at the 5, dang near for Golden State, but that is what another reason why we should keep an eye out for the Golden State Warriors is because Chris Paul is going to add something to that team. Will he be good in the playoffs? I don't know, but he don't even got the ball hard in the regular season, not at all.
Right,
but
yeah, it will be interesting. Golden State will be interesting this year. Jay, let me ask you this here before we move on. Steph Curry, let's just say this Chris Paul deal works out, and these guys win the championship. At whatever ripe age they are right now, and this core, like Steph Curry, move up in your rankings.
Nah.
One more championship. Steph, not Paul. Steph.
I don't know because with the point guard, the whole point guard aspect, it's just different with say for instance, you got Draymond bringing the ball up. Just the way offense is ran, I guess a spot, but I don't ever want. I'll never say that he's the best ever.
No, I wouldn't say best ever, but
he'll ever get there. Mhm.
But let's just say this guy, wins the championship and he's a series world or championship MVP, NBA MVP. Like we're giving him a spot at least,
yeah, yeah. That's
right?
definitely fair. Yeah,
Is
Yeah.
he the best of this decade? Yes, right.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
10-year
yeah,
period.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
easily
Yeah.
the accomplishments he has. So hey,
Yeah. Give him
first
that.
topics, first topics always the longest topic, and it's always a fun one. So nice job, guys. Appreciate it. Scores are tied up 5-5. All as we move into the next one. All right, let's get into it here. Week 1 is here. Week 0 just finished in college football there. Week 1 is officially here. I need to know from you guys, which college football week 1 matchup are you looking forward to the most? Because, like it or not, there are some nice unranked versus ranked teams, some unranked teams, and some ranked versus ranked. So I need to know from you guys, which college football week 1 matchups are you looking forward to? Jay, we started with you last time. Whit, you're up.
All right, so yeah, week one, man, it's finally here. And as of right now, like I've been telling folks, y'all know I'm right here in Jacksonville. I'm in the heart of Florida football country, and I got to start with the top. We got Florida going against number 14 Utah. It's crazy because we got to see what happens after the Anthony Richardson era in Florida, of course. Another big reason, if anybody hasn't paid attention, the Florida Gators have a lot of eyes on them at the moment because of the Netflix special and Swamp Kings. That's a big deal. So right now we got Wisconsin transfer Graham Mertz starting. It's crazy. We got to see exactly what he does with that. Utah, it's kind of one of those situations where their incumbent quarterback already has been there. Say if you didn't know, now you know. Cam Rising. Yeah, look, man. They almost got Ohio State last year, if I'm not mistaken. It was like really close, 45, 48, 47, so 48, something close. Either way, I do remember that off the top of my head. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Another big one.
Hey, wait, real quick there. By the way, I don't know if you heard about this yet for this Gators Utes game. Cam Rising is still questionable about if he's playing Thursday or not, which is a
Yeah.
huge determination of where you go in this game. So
This is true. I'm expecting Cam Rising to somehow play forward on that one, but like you said, it's a possibility he may not start. We're from the Carolinas, Jay and I, and Carolina's got a big game. They got number 21 North Carolina, the Tar Heels. Drake May, some people say he's going to be in that top 5, top 4, possible Heisman Trophy candidate space right there. Last year threw for over 4,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, less than 10 interceptions. I know that. I love Mac Brown. Y'all know I like Texas. Mac Brown go try and bring the pain into what is now becoming North Carolina Tar Heel football. At one point in time, Tar Heel football was a joke because of how good Tar Heel basketball was. And of course, of all people, Jay knows about Tar Heel basketball, don't you, Jay? So when I think about right now is the matchup that we got when it comes to Carolina. We got Beamer Ball finally kind of showing its ugly head. When I say ugly head, it's not a bad thing. We all know what's up with that. Coach Beamer, Shane Beamer, everybody knows Frank Beamer's dad. Like they have a whole inception of their offense, and it actually took to get a quarterback that was worth it. So now, of course, we got Rattler coming back. I like him. You know what I'm saying? So we got to see exactly what goes on this season. USC's defense lost a couple of guys in the late rounds in the draft, so they're revamping on that end. Another one. This is one that I'm thinking about because this is another replacement of a really good quarterback. Virginia and Tennessee. Of course, we're not really talking about Virginia. We want to see what happens because they finished the year 3-7, 1-6 in the ACC. They were towards the bottom. Sorry, Virginia. But of course, Tennessee lost Hendon Hooker last year. Hendon Hooker's playing for Detroit right now. But they got Joe Milton, right? Joe Milton's going to be starting. Joe Milton, if y'all remember, was actually pretty good coming off the bench in Michigan. And Joe Milton's that dual threat guy Oh my God, he's going to run or is he going to throw? What's he going to do? We don't know. So we're looking to see what goes on with Tennessee. And of course, they had a high-powered offense last year. From what I saw when I was reading, looking through a couple of things, they got some really highly touted recruits and transfers between the tight ends and wide receivers. So it's really, really a big deal to see how they take on some really low-level competition in week one and see what they go ahead and do. Last but not least, my last big matchup, and this is primetime TV. Notice the word prime. You should see where I'm going here. I'm talking about Colorado and TCU. It's got to happen. We got to see it. Finally, Coach Prime in his debut, okay, against TCU. So what are we going to
Ranked.
see? We got Shador Sanders quarterbacking. No more Max Duggan. We know what's going on. They got Chandler Morris. Chandler Morris outright won the TCU spot right there. And in my opinion, what are we going to see from Travis Hunter from Colorado? Went from Jackson State to Colorado. Travis Hunter's out there doing both sides of the ball. We're going to see him more on offense, more on defense. A lot of what I saw, I'm trying to get to the point. A lot of what I saw and what I was reading is everybody likes Travis Hunter as a wide receiver. As nobody that because he plays defense so well for a lot of people to say that they love him as a wide receiver. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with that. And of course, a lot of people are looking forward to seeing if if Deion goes land flat on his face, man. I mean, with all of the talk about the transfers that left, the guys that were there that are no longer there, it's sad to see. It's sad to say that a lot of the media wants to see Deion lose. I want to see him win. I'm not expecting him to be a world beater that first year, but I'm expecting him to go put out a product that is reminiscent of him working on the talent level in Colorado because, of course, everybody knows Colorado was the last of the last to Pitts last year. So can he somehow take year one and maybe go 500? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe, of course, possibly move to another conference next year. Who knows? So those are my picks for week one. I'm excited. College football is back. And Jay, you got this one.
And you can use some of the same games. Just tell me different reason why, right?
Yeah, I wanted to go first.
It's
My game's out.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I just cut all of the pageantry, and I'll go with the same game. Colorado and TCU. I looked at games like UNC and University of South Carolina. I don't want to say USC because, of course, I'm in South Carolina, so to us it's USC. But UNC and University of South Carolina, for obvious reasons, want to see if USC gets off to a pretty good start. If they beat North Carolina, they pretty much have Georgia pretty early. Not many people are expecting them to give any type of battle in that. So let's see how it takes shape. I think the game won't be as important if they lose to North Carolina. So it would kind of suck for home game for Georgia. They're actually thinking about game day being there in Athens for that game. If South Carolina makes it a very convincing win against North Carolina. So that's something to look out for. Utah State and Iowa got on by Iowa last week. Can Utah State just go ahead and take care of business and prove to everybody, like, look, just after I said something about Iowa's defense, they lost another. Should did more homework on that guy, but one of the stars on defense they lost for the season, I believe, indefinitely. Florida and Utah. Same thing Whit brought up. Obvious reasons. I just like to see anybody Florida plays on the other side of the nation or anywhere else or any other region, especially the first game of the season for them. And of course, Indiana, Ohio State. Everybody wants to see that, right?
That's right. That's right. We want to see that. Come on.
Jay, I'm surprised, man. You're not gonna talk about the Miami Bowl?
Nah. All right. So the thing about Colorado we mentioned is that Colorado barely is 1-11, right? So barely 1-11 last year. So this definitely for a team TCU, who was actually the national runner up last season, which it's not showing for much for how they finish the season, and I don't think it's going to show much for how they start this. They go through this season, but they're going to be their number 17. Colorado basically is trying to do something with Coach Prime that has never been done before, and that is a team losing that many games at most has won like 4 or 5 games the next season. No team has turned a 1-11 team or a losing team to win any more than 4 games ever in college football. So you have some saying that Colorado has a weak roster, even through everything that they shipping people in and out. You only have 7 that remain from the famous luggage Louis bag speech or whatever. I don't know what you want to call it. Initiation. I don't know what it was, but that Louis bag speech, there's only 7 players remaining from that Louis bag speech. So that's going to be very interesting to watch. But definitely Colorado, TCU. Let's see what happens with Colorado, how they start off, what kind of style of play, what kind of jerseys they're going to wear. Let's see what's going on with
That's true
Colorado.
too.
So that's the thing for me, definitely. With all those other matchups, it's Colorado, TCU.
Highlighted game for sure here. Alan out here says UTSA versus Houston and West Virginia versus Penn State. And West Virginia's trying to look for a bounce back after horrendous last year. So we'll have to see there. And then no one's saying LSU versus FSU. Come on now for Alan. Hey, that's a big matchup still. LSU has the chance. LSU has to come out and dominate, I think, this game to really set the standard of where they're at as a football team this year. They finished strong. Let's see if they can come out and and take care of business right away and really show a big impact game within this game. So I think it's a big highlight game for Sunday night.
And ACC needs some credibility. So I want parity. I hate to say this. Hell nah, I can't say it. Forget it.
Hey, listen, man,
Forget it.
it's
Florida
it's
State
out
win.
there.
I can't say it.
It's out there for the world to see right now, and
Mhm.
just like Jay mentioned, the ACC is holding on by threads to a degree, and is literally being held up on the back of Clemson. And we got to see what happens this season, because of course it's a lot. It's going. This is a season with a lot of turnover, and we have to see who's going to rise. The cream always rises to the top. And who's going to be out there and say, okay, I'm gonna plant the flag in there. And I love the fact that somebody mentioned LSU and FSU, but when it comes to what the standards were from last year, it's kind of not an even matchup.
Alan, nobody cares.
Oh, also Boomer Sooner. Shout out to Allen.
And then you talked about Millen there in Tennessee, and Hooker came out and justified it too. I think he was throwing 98-yard bombs in practice and stuff. Like, his arm's insane. Now, can he come out and can he be accurate with that arm? Can he be able to make the big play and fit it in the tight spot? So that's the thing to highlight. Tennessee was really good last year. Can they come out and can Millen be essentially what Hooker did last year? So, and of course Ohio State announced their quarterback yesterday or today, one of the two. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. But I mean, I'm not worried about it.
Jay says, "Go ahead, skip over to Ohio State."
Nah, man, yo, check this out. Nah, see, the whole thing is, man. It's like, you want to set up a cupcake and you don't want to do that much so nowadays. But to say that you get a in-conference opponent, and you say, oh man, this Big Ten is one of the best conferences too. We play in a good conference. Yeah. But you got Indiana week 1. You know what I'm saying? See, what did I say? Indiana, Rutgers. Like, man, I swear, man.
Indiana will shout out to Indiana.
And then you get that one Northwestern win like every 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm
if
sorry.
I'm Indiana, if I'm Indiana though, that's the time I want to face Ohio State is first game of the season because I don't want them 4 games warmed up. So if there's going to be any chance, this is the game to have a little bit competitiveness. So
You're right.
Hey,
You're right. That is right.
I'm for sure. All right, guys, let's get this score update here. Whit pulled ahead by 1 on this
here we go
category here.
again.
But we got a big one here coming in for this next round. Let's get at it. Guys, I don't know if you're familiar with Price is Right, but RIP Bob, Price is Right theme here, running back contract additions. Now I'm looking in the future here. I'm looking after this year. Assuming the market's going to stay about the same, I got 4 different contract offers. I got 4 different players that you guys are going to have to match up and tell me why for each one here, okay? So our players is Eckler, Chubb, Jacobs, and Barkley. All going to be free agents at the end of the season. All right. I didn't include Henry. I didn't include some other guys. These are the main guys because I think they got the most left in the tank to go into future years. Okay. Our amounts in years for contracts we're looking at, we got 1 year for 16 million, 2 years for 14 million, 3 years for 12 million, and 4 years for 10 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I'm trying to base it off the prediction market. We looked at spot track. If in case you guys don't know about spot track, fabulous site to look at contracts and stuff like that. But I based it all kind of off of that here. So with this being in play for these players in these contracts here, we're gonna do one at a time here. Okay. Well, let's start here. These are players. You guys got the players down? Are we good?
Yeah.
Let's start it. I'm gonna pick a random one here. 3 years, 12 million. Who are you giving? Which player are you going to give it to after this season?
Well, okay. If I'm thinking 3 years, 12 million, that breaks down to literally like 4 and possibly with some incentives, or maybe we can fully
Sure,
guarantee
you can do
seven and a
something, right?
half or something like
Yeah.
that. I got to give it to a guy who said, you know what, I'm gonna strap my boots up. I'm just gonna show up to work. I'm only gonna take $1 more million, but I think something's gonna come in my back end for me because I'm gonna be your franchise guy from now on. I'm gonna give 3 years, $12 million to Saquon. In my mind, Saquon Barkley is worth more than $12 million, but with him taking that one that he did last with this season right here, somewhere in there, I would think that the Giants would incentivize the contract by saying, hey, you know what? We love you. We appreciate you. We're just going to go ahead and help the team out by making them better by going ahead and ducking down and giving you 7.5, between 6.5 to 7 million up front guaranteed right now. That way, year 2 and 3, they can still do something like preserve offensive linemen, possibly get some more weaponry on the offense, maybe keep their new tight end who is possibly going to be set for, I mean, we're talking about Darren Waller, possibly being set for a comeback breakout season in the next year. So, when you got, a quarterback set, when you got your running back set, you might want to have a tight end. And somewhere in there, we're going to be looking for wide receivers that may come either in free agency or like possibly in the draft, which you won't have to pay them very much money. So that's why I think somewhere in there we get Saquon, 3 years, 12 million, and somewhere in there you say something crazy like, man, look, go ahead and take 5 off top. We give you 1 million. We get you a nice flat overlooking the East River. You know what I'm saying? In New York or something like that, or in Jersey, where you can, come to practice on time every day or whatever. And he gets to be the company guy like he wants to be, because that's literally all Saquon wants, is to be recognized for how he sucked it up last season. He's come back off an injury. He's pretty much been, every time he's come back, he's somewhat proven that he's been better. But he's worth more money. But with the market looking like the way it is, definitely got to give him some type of incentive to go 3 more years with the New York Giants and my man Danny Dimes.
Okay. Jay, who you giving 3 years, 12 million to? Did he freeze up again?
I think he froze.
Uh-oh. Sorry
There he
about
is.
that.
Okay, he's back. We're good.
All right, 3 years, 12 million. I'm giving that to
Yeah, Eckler, Jacobs, Saquon, and Chubb.
mm, man, I don't want to agree. Oh man.
I mean, there's only
Man.
two answers here, right?
I'm giving that to Eckler. Um I,
Okay.
I'm giving that to Eckler because my rank with what you just said, and let me get this clear. Is this 12 million a year?
No. This, I guess it would be. What do they got
Four and
now?
some change.
It's one. Yeah, I'd say
3 year,
four and
four
some change.
million.
Yeah, four or five in that range.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely giving that to Eckler because you know what? Let me back that up. Man, I'm giving that to okay, give me my four again. Let me make sure I got this
Yeah,
right.
you got Eckler, Chubb,
Mm-hmm.
Barkley, and
And Jacobs.
Jacob.
Jacobs. Yeah, who's just signed.
Okay, give me ooh. I mean Saquon, man, based on injury, it's kind of hard to put Saquon at number three. Um, but I guess I could put him at number three because if I look at this deal right here, that will be I would say about the third best. The last will be definitely the four. What the 4 years, 10 million.
Mm-hmm.
So based on injury and if man, that's tough because you asked me now. I'm giving Saquon the benefit of a doubt and saying that he's worth the 3 years, 12 million right now. Now, if we have injured Saquon Barkley that doesn't make it through the season, he goes to the 4 years, 10 million, definitely.
Right, and it kind of all depends on that. But yeah, I'd say 3 years, 12 million sounds about right. Saquon's about the years, not necessarily about the money. He doesn't want to break the market, right? And he just wants to have
Right.
something solidified up. So I could get down with some Saquon in 3 years. So let's move to the next one. Our next one here is the 2 years, 14 million. And you guys put Saquon off the list here. So we got Jacobs, Chubb, and Eckler now at 2 years, 14 mil.
All right, man. So when it comes to me thinking about 2 years of 14 million, what we basically saying is 7 million a year. 7 million a year. You probably want to do a similar factor where you incentivize it and go, oh man, you're at the tops of the running back totem pole. You're a two-way player. You're dependable. You don't get injured. You play for a team that is on the rise, and a quarterback that we're going to need you to be in the backfield for way more often than not because we want to see how he progresses on his comeback tour. So I'm giving 2 years and 14 to my man Nick Chubb, straight up and down. $7 million. You give him, you go ahead and say, look, man, we're gonna throw you 9.2 guaranteed, brother. It's already there. Check your bank account. Look at your phone. You did great. You're close to a 2,000 yard rusher every season. You know, you're breaking backs, you're cracking heads, and not only are you a good running back, but you're also an awesome pass protection back as well. Which is what we're going to need because we're going to let Deshaun throw the ball this year. We're going to let Deshaun throw the ball next year. And so, what I need you to do, man, I need you to put all of that focus into making sure Deshaun is not only safe but also knows where you are. You're not just a running back in between the tackles, but you're also a great safety valve. If you have you seen Nick Chubb in the maybe coming off of one of those screens, Nick Chubb is awesome behind a moving offensive lineman. Nick Chubb is awesome behind partially blocking wide receivers. It's almost it's I'm not going to say it's unstoppable, but it's one of the things that you got to see. The Cleveland Browns are in a upward slope, so they paid Deshaun Watson all of that money. We know he's going to be there. We got that sold up. So what's the next thing offensively? Got to pay the running back, and he's worth every penny. Just about every season we can see him pushing somewhere between 7 to 10 touchdowns. And of course, like I said, he does an awesome job of pass protection as well. So I'm thinking Nick Chubb, 14 million, 2 years, something crazy like nine and some change second, which will possibly give them, more money to give to an offensive line. Once again, the offensive line has to get paid in this. That's the thing. The offensive line got to get paid somewhere.
Mhm.
So boom, you pay Chubb, you pay your offensive line that second year. You keep Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson got all his money or most of his money because after he paid lawyers and women, Deshaun Watson is all right. That's it. So yeah, Nick
It's
Chubb.
true after that. Jay, what you got, man?
Oh,
You got Chubb, Jacobs, and Eckler left.
oh no, that's going to Austin Eckler. That's definitely going to Austin
Year
Eckler.
14.
Austin Eckler is not only your safety valve at all costs, like he's all around back. Great pass protection. Somebody Herbert can depend on in the passing game. He can run between the tackles. Very durable. It amazes me how durable he is. If you look at the roster going into the season, this preseason, Austin Eckler, it's almost like they don't really care. It looks like they don't care much about running back depth. I'll be honest. I'm sure there's going to have a depth,
Hmm.
a good running back room, but they didn't put much into the second guy, the third guy, you know, as I've seen in previous seasons. And from what I've been hearing a lot is that it's his show this season. As far as the backfield is concerned, which to me, I thought it was his show all this time, but okay. That says a lot then, that says that they're planning on making him earn his money because I feel like even though the contract that he actually went for or whatever he did with his contract, I think that's basically it's sort of like a contract year for him still. So yeah, that's going to Austin Eckler, 2 years, 14 million.
Interesting. I don't think there's a wrong answer here between these guys. So, but good take there for me. I'm giving Chubb the money at in the years at this point. If not Jacobs. So that'd be my two guys in that point. All right, let's Jay, you're gonna kick these next two off here. Let's do it. 4 year, 10 mil. So Witt has already done Saquon and Chubb. And Jay, you got Eckler and Saquon out of the way. So you got between Jacobs and who am I thinking? Eckler. No, Chubb. Jacobs and Chubb.
Jacobs and
That's who
Chubb.
you have left. Who you got? Who you giving 4 year, 10 mil to this guy?
Being the fact that I think that he would be the youngest out of the four, I would go with that's how I already planned out that it was going to be Jacobs getting this because he's gonna be able to actually live that contract through, and I don't, he's gonna probably play that through as far as his durability. So far he's been pretty good with it. So 4 years, that's a little bit more realistic. For somebody like Jacobs, couldn't say the 4 years Saquon, eh, 4 years Eckler. That's a stretch. So yeah, 4 years, and then Chubb. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Like Chubb, 4 years, he probably could be pretty serviceable, but not as explosive as a back as he's been in previous years, man. And, like you was talking about him being a safety valve. Chubb is pretty. He's definitely he can he is doable for him to actually run like a 90 yard screenplay to the house. You know what I mean? So yeah, but Jacobs for 4 years, 10 million. That's a little bit more realistic to me.
Okay. What who you got? You got the choices of Eckler and Jacobs.
All right. Well, in this one, this is one of the ones where me and Jay actually agree. It's somewhat to the point where the years and the talent kind of match up because what I would think is okay. Of course, he's the younger of all the backs we mentioned before. He's also one of the more durable. So what I would think is this is more so for the Raiders to go. Okay, look, hey, it's year two, it's year three. You know, you got maybe 1 year, 2 years left. I know you like it here in Vegas, but we really want to send you to Denver. You know, we really want to send you to Miami because when you're thinking 4 years, 10 million, right? That's two and some change every year. That's a really easily tradable contract when you think about running
Mhm.
backs. So $2 million onto somebody's cap room for a third, a fourth round, fifth round pick, or offensive lineman, a tight end, a cornerback, or something like that. That's something that you can move for the future, so Las Vegas can build. I'm not saying and I'm not saying that the higher ups are thinking this way, but you already rubbed us the wrong way when you said you didn't want to show up. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't got that long. We got this much time, and as soon as I feel like that time is out, I'm gonna get you up out of there, brother. So listen, your 2 million, your two and some change, your 2.3, I guarantee you about 4 or 5, but 2 or 3 that you can have in your pocket is going to get paid for by Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who like the missing piece because they're paying everybody else is worth $2 million. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's why I say that's why. Hey, look, Kansas City, right? 2 years from now, Patrick Mahomes will still be there. They got 2 million to throw in the air. Throw them some draft picks because you know why? Kansas City draft picks are always at the bottom of the draft every round anyway, so it doesn't matter. So you throw them 2 picks, you get Josh Jacobs. Now you got a good serviceable back. Can you throw him the ball? Sure, you can throw him the ball. Can he catch a no look pass from Patrick Mahomes? Of course he could. You know what I'm saying? So it is to me that one is one of those where the higher ups are going to look at him and go, "Hey, look, you did great. We loved you. We gave you some money, but you're going to get the rest from over there. And if you're doing really good, then not only are they going to pay you, but maybe they'll extend you. You know what I mean? So once again, Josh Jacobs, 4 years, 10 million. I like that one.
Very interesting take there for that one. All right, let's get to the final one. 1 year, 16 mil. Jay, I think all we got left for you is Chubb. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Why Chubb at 1 year, 16 mil?
Because I kind of base it off the fact if you look at the contract that he signed, and if you look at the top tier running back, you can go McCaffrey, Henry, Chubb, and that basically is realistic with what Chubb is getting now compared to what's going on in the NFL. When and that's when we talked about it. I say that a lot of these running backs are speaking up for all the other running backs, but it's like it's I don't know. Like me, I'm pretty realistic. Even if I was in that running back room, you know, I'm James Conner, and Derrick Henry is saying, "Yo, man, we can do this and we can do that." I'm like, "Look, dude, you can do that. I'm not getting that money for the rest of my career. Like any point in my career, I'm not gonna see. I can't stiff arm anybody that's gonna make anybody say, let's go ahead and give him another few seasons and put him at a pretty healthy salary. Like, nah, Christian McCaffrey says the same thing. It's like, yo, dude, the way you're coming out of the backfield, a lot of people have not seen that, my guy. So it's easy for you to say, yeah, man, I'm not gonna take that. But Chubb, like I said, 16 million, he's up there at that top tier status. He doesn't really have to prove it. He can use that contract right there, and that could be possibly his either Cleveland, realistically Cleveland will wrap him up for the rest of his career, or he can find him another team that'll buy him and get him for the cheap. You know, so that's definitely realistic, and that lines up with me. With Chubb.
Gotcha. All right. What you got? Who's left?
Eckler.
Jacobs? Eckler, right?
Yep.
That's right. What you got?
Okay,
Why you
so
got
this
Eckler
is
at 1 year 16?
so this is what happens. All right. So Austin Eckler, everybody knows, is pretty much like the orchestrator of this Zoom called running back movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where hey, we got to do something different. We got to set the standard. They're not moving the needle for us. I want to go if you're not going to pay me. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. So what I thought of in the middle of this was how much is he worth at one position and how much is he worth at another? When you look at Austin Eckler coming out of the backfield, lining up in that 4 and 5 wide spread that they like to do in San Diego, he's also technically somewhat of a slot receiver as well. So he's working two spots at once from time to time, right? That's why he would be worth that 16 million. Why? Because you want him to go, look, guys, they paid me, right? They can do the same for you because somewhere in there, the owners are going to want to go, hey, look, if we don't take care of one of the best, one of the, because all, of course, right now, one of the reasons why I say this all the time is one of the reasons why running backs aren't getting paid as much because the quarterbacks are running now. Okay, and so if you got Austin Eckler who's doing two jobs, you pay him like he's doing two jobs, but you say, all right, we get you this 1 year, we get you 16 million, we see how you produce, and if you don't, you can try and get your money somewhere else. You can't say we didn't do it for you. You've been here, you've been on the roster, you're helping mold a young quarterback, you're helping pretty much move the needle on what is the worth of running backs going forward. How about we go ahead and set the standard with you? You're not Christian McCaffrey, but we like you though. Here goes the money. Now show me what Christian McCaffrey can't do. All right, Christian McCaffrey out here doing so much. You show me what Christian McCaffrey can't do in this powder blue lightning bolt jersey, and you go forward and you move in that essence and saying, "Hey guys, look, they paid me, and now I'm producing." And then on the back end, well, what happens with him after that year is up? You break him down into smaller increments? Because I mean, after 16 million, how much more million do you need? You know what I mean? It's a possibility that you go, okay, we got your 1 year 16. Now we're going to get you 3 and 12. Four that's three increments of $4 million a piece, and something like that can work really well with a disgruntled, highly paid, highly touted running back. Remember now, Austin Eckler was one of the first ones to go, you know what? I'm not happy, but I'm going to show up. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Saquon was not happy, but he was telling everybody, man, I'd love to go, but I'm not happy. Josh Jacobs just left.
He did.
I love Vegas, but I'm not gonna go to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? That's as you see the trickle down effect is goes. I'm giving him more money because you know what? He was unhappy, but he organized and he showed up. So I'm gonna give him the 16 million. But at the same time, what you getting 16? Don't you be looking around here for 7 or 8 next year now. Don't do that. You better take this 4 and 5 and roll. But that yeah, I'll go. Yeah, Austin Eckler, 1 million. That's my joint right there.
Not bad, guys. Not bad there. Obviously, I think all these guys are worth 16 mil despite the years amount. For me, I'll give you my rank here. 1 year, 16 mil goes to Jacobs for me because he wants the money more than I think he wants years, honestly. Chubb at 2 year, 14 mil. The guy needs to get paid, but he also needs to have some kind of security. And if he
Definitely.
continues on, who knows what happens there. 3 years, 12 mil for me. I have Eckler. Eckler's still a versatile back. He's only 28. The guy can do both sides. I would love to have a guy going into his 30s be able to still receive and run the ball effectively and impactfully, especially when you get younger guys coming in through the draft. Finally, Saquon at 4 years, 10 mil. He just wants the years and be secured on his payment. Get Saquon there. You got same way as Eckler, right? These two in the back end, and I want the most is because they can they're really good at receiving. They get the yaks and they can rush tremendously, and they're a big part of any offense that they'll be a part of. So that's what I got there. Let's update the score real quick here. With 24, Jay 19. We're going to the 5-point bonus round. All Jay can do is tie. That's all he can do is tie. This could be a tie. It could be our first tie. I don't know what to do on that yet. I can come up with it. All right. Let's get it. Final topic, everybody. Bonus round worth 5 points. If you can bring back any retired athlete in their prime to your favorite sports team, but they got to replace the current best player at their position. Okay. And you can do your team or you can select a team that maybe you're in favor of that you might want. So let's see here. Jay, you won last time. Do you want to go? I'll leave it to you. You want to go first or last?
I'm gonna go last.
Okay. Whit, you're on the clock.
All right, so for this one, I'm going to pick a team that I'm somewhat indifferent about, but I loved growing up, and I think that a lot of it came from watching the Sheriff on Sundays go out there, sling the pigskin. I'm talking about the Indianapolis Colts. Right now, I've literally watched two of those preseason games with Anthony Richardson at quarterback, and I was like, where's Gardner Minshew? Who's the quarterback? I kept going, who's the other quarterback? Like I kept looking to see who the other quarterback is because it wasn't like it was nothing eye popping. Now I know you heard me say the Sheriff and you're thinking about Peyton Manning, but who I would have loved to see right now is really Andrew Luck, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like if Andrew Luck somehow and I see Justin. You have to cut Jay. You got to cut Jay. Wait, you got to cut Jay's screen off when I'm talking because he started making faces and moving his hands and it's distracting. But anyway, like I was saying, if in my opinion, because this is my opinion, right? What goes on is this: if Andrew Luck does not get his brains beaten, if he does not have because he's a genius at the same time. If he doesn't feel that his body is unable to recover from such injuries that he was sustaining at the time when the Colts did not have a really good offensive line, would they have been in the position to go through several quarterbacks such as Matt Ryan and Nick Foles or they would have had Andrew Luck be the pretty much heir apparent to Peyton Manning. Now I know it's a short-sighted view of who could have been doing what. Yeah, it's a really easy choice to say I would love to see Peyton Manning in his prime play with this Colts offense. But nah, I think truly when Andrew Luck retired early, it set the Colts up for this 5-year thing that we're having where they're going, well, who's the quarterback? Who's the quarterback? Who's the quarterback? Who's the quarterback? Now we got to draft one. You know what I mean? Just imagine remember now, before Andrew Luck was trashed and tarnished in the backfield, Andrew Luck was top 5 quarterback 3 years running. He got injured the last 2, and those were the hardest ones for him to recover from. But every time he stepped on the field, the Colts were worth watching. They were actually good. They did have times in which they could have went to the playoffs and did something. But the point is, one of the most important positions in sports, besides maybe the goalie in hockey, is the quarterback in football. And when they took the quarterback in football away from the Indianapolis Colts, it set them up for years of destitute that they are still trying to recover from right now, which is why they drafted Anthony Richardson. And I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I'm not saying that he's not going to be good. I'm just saying he's not going to be that good right now. And I would love to have seen Andrew Luck capable of throwing the ball to anybody in a Colts uniform right now. And don't forget, he had like some of the coolest interviews because he was really smart and he said stuff that nobody thought about. So there we go. My answer is Andrew Luck, and I'm riding with that one. I know it was a really short sample size, but if he would have been healthy, we wouldn't be worrying about Anthony Richardson in a Colts uniform right now. Guaranteed.
I get the quarterback factor with Colts and everything. I truly do. Andrew Luck this will be a little bit more successful than it is going to be this year for sure. With Andrew Luck behind the helm. Jonathan Taylor probably doesn't start on the pup list, or whatever you want to call it now,
He
going into the
probably
season either.
Jonathan Taylor would probably be like, you know what, I want to play with this guy. He
Yeah,
wants to leave because he doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild, and they don't want to pay him.
correct. And you don't have a leader right now in that locker room that's able to help take care of those issues. If I was going to pick a Colt though, for me, it'd be Jeff Saturday because that line stinks. For sure. So, like, give me anything to help improve that line there. So, but hey, I get it, Whit. I get it. The quarterback position is a needed factor into that Colts team right now. And we'll probably be saying that at the end of the year. Just saying. Jay, you're up.
All right. I looked around the league and man, I think what makes the most sense right now, and I took this into my team, my favorite team, and I took this into a team that a player is either retired or not with us. Um, I was thinking Thurman Thomas for the Bills, but I'm just gonna put that away, right? But um, and I hate to say this, with think you did it, think you did it. So Clinton Portis ran 1,591 yards for Denver. That was his best career total rushing or best year rushing. With my Washington at the time Redskins, he ran 1,516 yards. Man, we can use that going into this season, man. We can definitely use 1,500 yards rushing going into the season with this offense, with our receivers. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And then also, I was kind of torn between Clinton Portis, Sean Taylor at safety. If we had Sean Taylor at safety with that defensive line, oh my gosh, we'd be looking for some fines. Some fines to be handed out. Some hitting to be going on out there for sure. For sure. But I was torn. I'm torn, right? So it's just like, I'm going to go with Clinton Portis. Nah, I'm got to go with Sean Taylor at the safety position for my Washington Commanders, man. Just just having that presence at safety with that defense on the front end. I think Brian Robinson and Rodriguez and Gibson will end up being pretty serviceable. They're gonna do something positive under. Thank you, Tanner, under our new offensive coordinator. But you know, um, Sean Taylor at safety behind that defensive line and the 20 defensive ends that we have on the roster with the Washington Commanders, I think will be great. I think will be great. But seriously, yeah, Sean Taylor with that defense, yes.
What do you think, Whit?
My thing is this: who is throwing the football in Washington?
Well, who are you going to bring in to throw the football in Washington?
That I mean,
Jamie Ball?
that I mean, that would be a good idea, and I agree with Jay. One of the one of the deepest sympathetic answers for any Washington football team fan would definitely be Sean Taylor. We did talk about Clinton Portis. Now, if we want to just talk about my favorite team, and my favorite team, I mean, I want to bring back a quarterback that won 2 Super Bowl rings while I was alive, and I would bring back Ben Roethlisberger to the Steelers and have Kenny Pickett watch one season. But hey, it's not about me. I wanted to be objective and pick a team that I'm not necessarily affiliated with to get my
But you
answer.
pick
You know,
Andrew Luck, yo.
yeah, man,
If now,
Andrew Luck.
nah,
It's
man.
it's it's a
You were
trickle
going
it's a
okay.
trickle down effect.
Let's,
Trickle
All
let's
down.
right,
They
all right.
went who what's who, who's the quarterback? Tell me the quarterbacks that happened You can tell. All right, you probably could tell me the safeties that they got, but you definitely know for sure the Colts quarterbacks because Andrew Luck was not there. That's a trickle down effect. It's big. It's huge. It mattered. It played a huge part in what is going on with
So
the Colts
Andrew
and
Luck is
how
not
much
helping that
and how
team
much
win.
alcohol it played a part in how much alcohol Jim Irsay drank that year. When he found out his boy was retiring, Jim Irsay went off the deep end and drove a car full of hookers into a light pole. Okay.
so we sit in their prime, right? So we gotta look at this here between the two players. So we look at Jason Taylor first, okay, or Sean Taylor, sorry,
Sean Taylor.
Sean Taylor, and we kind of look at his stats here, right? 4 seasons, unfortunately. His biggest one was '06. You had, let's see here, one interception, 3 forced fumbles, which is pretty awesome there, right? 114 combined tackles, 89 solo, 25 assists, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 QB hit, right? What do we take that on the Commanders, Redskins, whatever you want the hell you would call them now with the new owners? Would you take that as your prime going into play, Jay?
I mean, Sean Taylor was. I'm sorry.
He
Yeah.
was a beast. He was a monster. But are we taking these kind of stats and we plugging into the Commanders? Are they gonna be any better? You know what I
What
mean?
he's saying is what I think he's going for is the emotional connection with not only
Nah.
the team, man.
Nah.
That was
Taylor
Nah.
that
Taylor
he
was a
was leading.
beast.
He was leading the team and taking sometimes the best players off the field.
Yes.
I can kind of feel that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love me some Taylor. I love
And
watching his
killing
highlights.
killing kickers during Pro Bowls. Like, what are you talking about? That
Correct.
was cool.
Now we look at Andrew Luck. His best year was in 14, where he played all 16 games, went 11-5 there. He was a 61.7% completion percentage for over 45,000 yards or 4,500 yards. Sorry, 40 touchdowns. Let's see here, 16 INTs. And what's the longest? 80-yard pass. His rate was 96.5 yards per game. Were 297.6. I'm trying to look at this as a perspective of where are we looking at in the impact of your current team, right? And we look at the current guys that would be kicked out of this, right? We all know Anthony Richardson would be kicked out of the Colts. And let's see here. Is it going to be Cameron Curl or Derek Forrest?
It'd probably be Derek Forrest.
Kick them both
That's
out.
who I'm thinking. I mean, you might as well. Taylor will replace them both just by
Right.
himself.
He got
Let's
the
be
whole
real.
bag. He got the whole top fifth of the field. He got that.
Where's the most impact at? Who has the biggest impact? That's the thing to think about here. I love it. I love you guys make this so freaking difficult in the play. But I am going to give it to Jay because that defense is going to do it. For God's sake, Whit, stop picking these weird picks in your players.
God, bro. Like,
Why are we going away from
my
Peyton
God,
Manning's
bro.
prime?
Oh my God. What
Are
are you
you-
talking? Why?
You would have won,
I'm,
dude,
I'm
if you would have said.
unconventional. This is anything but the normal answers. Everybody was going to say Magic Johnson earlier. Everybody was going to say Steph Curry earlier. I gave you Tony
Nobody wants
Parker.
to take it.
I gave you Tony Parker earlier.
You
And
gave me
now
Chris
I'm giving
freaking
you
Paul.
Andrew Luck. Come on.
I love it.
We
I
gotta
love
we
this
gotta
show.
talk about we gotta turn the needle on this one. Everybody loves Sean Taylor. Everybody. I know, and that's a great answer. So
It is. I mean,
I gave you
think about it
gave
though.
you
Think
Steph
about it.
Griffin.
This defense is already, they consider them top 15, top 10 at times for the last couple of years, right? Top 5, right? And you add a Sean Taylor in this defense, and that gives your offense more opportunities. Be enemies there. Howell looks better in the last couple preseason games that I've seen in the clips as well. And you got weapons already on that offense. You bring Sean Taylor in this freaking defense, you have a new mentality, a new character coming into play. I was gonna say like I can't remember the defensive end you guys had as well for the Redskins, but look, this Sean Taylor would be a difference here. Andrew Luck, I still feel like there's not enough line depth.
Arakpo?
Oh right, yeah,
Arakpo?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds right on that one. The Colts is just a bad franchise right now. They're a bad team. Their O line sucks. I don't blame Taylor for sitting out at this point. It's Andrew Luck isn't saving it, and I can tell you damn well Peyton Manning ain't saving it.
It's
In
like
the, in this
I
case.
should have said John Elway in Denver or something if we want to do it like that.
Oh God, just giving you crap, Wit. Guys, it is a tie as we finish up here. First tie of the show series here. It's kind of cool. So I'll take this one. Highlight on me for getting everything correct and making the scores out this way. Guys, this is amazing. This is a really fun show. I love doing this thing. It's so different and so entertaining yet as we go about it. And of course, I love it that we get to hear from the viewers on their comments on each topic as well. I don't do this a lot of other shows, so I greatly appreciate it, guys. So always a blast. You guys do a great job. Guys, I don't know if you guys know about next week. Did you know this thing called the NFL starts? We had cut day today. Week 1 starts next week, and we have a guest of Johnny Cruz, Jay Cruz, at the Yankee Fan. Go follow him on Twitter. He'll be our first guest next Tuesday night. It's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a fun time here, but we might have to switch the day. I'll get with you guys later on it because Jay Cruz. I think he starts a new job that gets him at 4 a.m. in the morning. So, yeah, this late night stuff might not happen, but we'll talk about it after show, guys. But check it out, Jay Cruz next week, leading up to week 1 here. The scene's only getting started, so be able to stay tuned. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow. Jay Witt, appreciate you guys again. Have a great week, and hopefully your cuts weren't too awful for yourself. So, guys, we'll catch you later.
Shout out to the practice squad, baby.
See ya.